succinct as possible, therefore I avoid repetition of many comments already made, but clearly I will associate myself with the comments from the member of Ogmore and the member for Bridgend in this matter. And Minister, thank you for the answers. I'll just get a quick point in that case, because clearly many of my constituents work there in Fords. In fact, I know friends and family of friends who work there. But when the issue happened in Port Talbot, the task force was established. One of the streams it set up was a health and well-being stream, vital to ensure that those who are affected by this decision of Fords are able to get that type of support. Will you therefore ensure that the task force also sets up a similar stream in this situation to ensure that people are supported? In relation to the comment made on pensions by the member for Bridgend, and you highlight that you don't want the sharks coming in. Well, we saw the sharks coming into Port Talbot. Will you have a discussion with the FCA to ensure that they do not descend on Bridgend as well? In fact, the FCA are holding a session in Port Talbot this Friday, particularly in relation to that. It might be worth having a discussion with them on that point. In relation to any redundancy settlements that are being made, and we've been told by the unions that basically they believe it's partly a bribe to the workforce to accept those deals and to accept the decision of Fords, and we'll see this outcome of that on Friday at a public meeting by the unions. Will you also look with the Treasury as to what the implications are from a Treasury point of view on those payments? Because many people may see large figures, but they may not understand what the consequences of those figures and how much they may end up having to pay to the Treasury and back into the UK government. And finally, on the supply chain matters, you've talked about the supply chain already. Will you look very carefully at the supply chain? We've seen Ford's announcement, we've seen the one in Newport, we've seen Calsonic's announcements. There is an impact upon supply chains as well. Will you work with supply chains to look at how they can actually address the future? We've talked about electric engines and hybrid engines, but supply chains need also support to change their designs and working into those engines and into those manufacturing. Will you work with supply chains to ensure that they can actually meet the engines of the future as well?
Can I thank David Rees for his questions, the important points that he makes about mental health and well-being of those who are going to be affected by this decision, not just the workers but their families and people employed in different businesses that rely on the contribution that Ford makes to the local economy. I can assure the member that the Health Board will be part of the task force, and that provided Ford give access to the task force, will be providing immediate support to those who are affected. I said to Ford on the phone on Thursday that I simply will not wait 12 months for the consultation to end before the task force can get into the business and support people. I want immediate access for those people and immediate support in terms of their well-being, because we know that announcements such as this do often lead to family breakdowns, to increases in mental illness and despair, and we must do all we can to avoid that. I've already answered the question of the FCA's involvement to the questions raised by Carwyn Jones. David Rees raises the important question of the taxes that could be paid to the UK Treasury. It's not for me to disclose the level of payments to workers or to speculate over the sum of taxes that will be sent to the UK Treasury, but we are already looking at this very issue, and it may well be that the UK government's contribution could come in the form of some form of return of those taxes to the workers and or the community. The member is also right to raise the significance of this challenge for the supply chain. We're working very closely, not just with BEIS, but also with the Wales Automotive Forum, in identifying those businesses within the automotive supply chain that will be affected by the announcement. Work has already commenced on that. The Wales Automotive Forum have written out to businesses within the supply chain, not just those directly relating to Ford's activities, but the general automotive sector, to identify any businesses that might require support from Welsh Government, from UK Government and the local authority.
Finally, Andrew Watty-James.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Minister, thank you.